Hi guys, welcome back to the Hidden Treasure Picker YouTube channel. My name is Amy. In case you're new to my channel, I'm an online reseller. What that means is that I go to places like thrift stores and garage sales, find items that I can buy for cheap, and then can resell online. I mainly do that on eBay and a little bit on Poshmark and Mercari as well. Today I want to talk about a topic that I feel is very important. It's about transparency in reselling. I believe that being completely transparent with you guys is very important. I don't ever want to give anyone the impression that reselling is, just as simple, easy, you're going to make $1 million overnight kind of thing. So I absolutely believe in being 100% transparent. And I feel that, most YouTubers, most resellers should do the same. Unfortunately, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that make it look a lot easier than it is. There are also a lot that are very transparent as well. So I just wanted to give my own thoughts on this subject, be very transparent with you guys about me, myself, and hopefully that will help you guys know that you can believe what I'm telling you, and also help you guys understand that if you're struggling reselling, you're not alone. It's not that simple. It's not that easy. And during this video, I also do want to go over a few sales that we had last week. If you watched my last video, last week was a very rough week for me. I discussed that a little bit in the last video. And so I didn't have much time to be able to do a lot of work last week. Therefore, it kind of resulted in a lower sales week as well. So I've only got a handful of sales that I want to go over with you guys, so I figured I would just add that into this video as well as talking about the topic at hand. So stick around for all of that. All right, guys. So why don't we go ahead and start with the sales that we had last week that I want to go over. There's only like 6 sales. First, there was a Poshmark sale. These were for a pair of Merrell women's shoes. Paid about $1.69 for these at the bins, and they ended up selling on eBay or on Poshmark, for $22. If you're new to my channel and haven't heard of the bins before, it's basically where you pay for everything by the pound instead of paying for each item individually. We like to do a lot of our sourcing there because it is cheaper. Next up, we'll go through 5 eBay sales. Really, that's it. One of them is a really great sale, though, so we'll talk about that also. First up are these Keen women's shoes. Paid about 86 cents for these at a garage sale, and they ended up selling for $33. These were so cheap at the garage sale because I actually bundled several things together. One of the other things that I bundled at that garage sale is actually in these sales that I'm about to go over as well, and that one is a really good one. But yeah, 86 cents is what it basically ended up costing me for these shoes, and that was pretty awesome because then again, I was able to flip them for $33. Next up are these pair of Crocs women's shoes. Paid about $1.92 for these at the bins, and they sold for $24.97. Next up are these Coach women's shoes. Paid about $2.59 for these at the bins, and they sold for $20. Next are these PF Flyers men's shoes. Paid about $4.44 for these at the bins, and they sold for $60. Apparently, the reason that PF Flyers do sell for more money and are popular, they were made popular by that movie The Sandlot. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie, but apparently that movie made these kind of shoes popular because those were the shoes I think that the kids wore, or at least one of the kids. I don't know if it was all of them, I don't remember. But apparently that's what I found out from my research when I looked these up, and was able to flip them for $60, so that was really, really good. But here, the final sale I want to go over is the really good one. So this was a Super Mario Brothers 3 for the original NES system. This was another one that I got at that garage sale, where I bundled everything, and it ended up being about 86 cents per item. This game was complete in the box, had the instructions, had the game, had like the poster that came with the game, everything. And it was in really good shape too. Like the box was in what I would call almost perfect condition. This was an amazing find. This was probably one of my favorite finds I've ever found. I just thought this was a really cool thing to find, and to be able to bundle it with all these other things and only pay about 86 cents for it. And it sold on eBay for $120. So that was absolutely amazing, and that was definitely the best sale of the week. And definitely, a much needed sale with the fact that it was a very slow week. And that obviously, like I said, because of the things that I had going on last week, was unable to really put a lot of effort into eBay last week. So that I had since this past summer. I had got it at a garage sale this summer. I originally had it priced at like $150. But I wasn't really, getting the action that I wanted on it. Somebody came along and offered $120, and I thought, there's no way I'm turning that down when I only paid 86 cents for it. So, great sale. But let's go ahead and get into the topic at hand for today. Transparency in reselling. So I'm going to tell you guys my full authentic story so that you don't have the impression that, I'm this huge eBay seller and I make millions of dollars and things like that, because that's definitely not the case, unfortunately. But it's not quite that easy. So I first started selling on eBay back in 2015. At that time, I had a pretty crappy regular job, and I just decided, hey, I wanted to start selling on eBay to make some extra income, maybe eventually be able to push it into a full-time job so that I could leave the crappy job that I was at. I was working in retail at the time, so, that's a very crappy job, and most people want to get out of that. So I did start an eBay business at that time in 2015. However, I ended up actually losing my job, not by choice, within a few months after I started doing eBay. So at that time, instead of trying to find another crappy job, I decided, hey, I'll just put all my effort into doing eBay full time. Obviously, this was very difficult at the time because, I didn't have time to build up a huge inventory. I didn't have time to, put all that kind of money into it to grow it the way that it needed to grow. So I was really struggling doing eBay full time. Fortunately, I was able to make it last for a couple years. And then I had some major life changes happen. I ended up getting a divorce. So when that happened, I no longer had that partner to be able to help me, grow and be able to help me with, extra bills while I was still trying to build that business. So at that time I decided, you know what, I can't keep doing eBay. I'm not making enough money, and now I'm going to be completely on my own. So I'm going to have to pay all my bills myself. And so I had to go find a regular full-time job again. So I did. I went back to the regular workforce in 2017. I was actually working for a law office, which was awesome. I really liked that job, actually. But if you're the type of person that has that yearning to work for yourself and not have to work for somebody else, and you feel like you have the discipline to do it, even though that was a great job, it was probably the best job I ever had, it was still that whole thing of, being tied down, having a boss, having to work for somebody else on their schedule, on their time, for their amount of money that they want to give you, so on and so forth. So I don't know, it was probably in 2018 at some point, maybe towards the end of the year, that I decided to start selling on eBay again. Just on the side, I just wanted to do it for extra money because I had really enjoyed it before. And I thought maybe eventually this time I could keep working this full-time job that was a good job. I wasn't desperate to get out of a crappy job. So I thought maybe I'd have time to build it up more to the point where, I was making enough doing just eBay that I would be able to move on and just have my own business. So I did work on that for several months. I just plugged away all the money I was making on eBay. I just put right back into the business, bought more inventory, kept it going, kept it cycling. So finally in about, I think it was May of 2019, I was making enough to replace my full-time income. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot again. I want to be my own boss. I don't want to be tied down to a specific schedule. I don't want to be under someone. I just want to work for me. So with the support of my partner at the time, who is still my partner, I decided to go ahead and leave that job and go back into full-time eBay reselling. This actually was great at first. I don't know if any of you have sold since 2019 or earlier, and know that it was really good actually in 2019. Things were good. I was making good money. I was paying all my bills. I was able to keep buying more inventory because I had the money for it. So 2019 was actually really excellent. And then, of course, 2020 hit. And I'm sure we all remember what happened in 2020. We were in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Lots of things were changing. My partner actually ended up leaving their job. Decided they wanted to start doing some things on their own. So they started doing DoorDash and things like that. eBay at the time for me was kind of like going downhill. Like it wasn't doing so great. So I ended up deciding to do DoorDash as well. So that kind of was counteractive. It was kind of a catch-22. Obviously, if I'm spending more time doing something else, I can't focus as much on eBay. But eBay wasn't doing very good for me anyhow. So after that, things really went downhill. And they've never really fully recovered. At the end of 2020, I believe my partner decided to go back to a full-time job because DoorDash wasn't cutting it, wasn't paying their bills. I was still doing eBay. I don't remember if I was yes, I still was doing DoorDash at the time. I think maybe I had stopped for like a couple months and then I picked it back up because I wasn't making enough. Even trying to put all that focus back on eBay, I just wasn't making enough. So I started DoorDashing again and have been DoorDashing ever since. So technically, I'm not a full-time reseller. That's kind of the point of what I'm trying to tell you guys. I am, I guess, but not. I have to also do things like DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats to make enough money to pay my bills. So it's basically almost like I have either 2 part-time jobs or 2 full-time jobs, however you want to look at it. My partner, when they were off work, also opened their own eBay store, and Poshmark and Mercari. Once they went back to work, we decided we would go ahead and keep their stores open, and I would run them. So that's been really helpful because what we use the money from their stores for is mostly to reinvest in new inventory and do things like going on out-of-town thrifting trips. So that actually has been really helpful, but it doesn't really help with my bills. My bills are still paid with profits from my eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari stores and my DoorDash and Grubhubbing and Uber Eats. So this is all just to let you guys know that, nobody's perfect. And sometimes we have to do things that we don't necessarily want to do. But unfortunately, sometimes things just aren't making enough money and we have to find other ways to make that money. All this is basically to say that, if you see these other YouTubers and resellers that are just making a killing, or at least saying they are in their YouTube videos, don't necessarily get discouraged, They may have been able to start their business in a completely different way than me. Maybe they had more time and more money to invest, so they were able to keep that flow going of reinvesting. Where apparently I couldn't keep up with that. I wasn't able to have enough to keep reinvesting at the same time as paying myself. Also, a lot of these YouTubers are making money from their YouTube videos. Once you get to a certain point, you do make money from YouTube videos. I'm nowhere near that point. Hopefully one day I will be, because it would be nice to have that extra stream of income. But that's something to keep in mind. You know, the people doing YouTube, a lot of them, especially the bigger ones, have that extra stream of income. So they're not only making money from reselling, they're making money from YouTube as well. So if you think they're just killing it and making tons of money, I mean, keep that in mind. They're not necessarily making that much just from eBay. A lot of them may be making a lot of money from eBay. I think there are definitely ones that are, but just keep that in mind that a lot of us have extra streams of income, no matter where they're coming from. And that's the nice thing about living in a gig economy. There's lots of ways to make money. So for me, I don't want to go back to a regular job. I don't want to work for somebody else again. But was I making enough doing reselling? No, I wasn't. So what I found was another job that allows me to basically be self-employed, an independent contractor. I still work when I want, work as much or as little as I want. And I'm making enough that way to be able to pay my bills. So basically, like I said, the point of all this is to say that if you are struggling, don't feel bad about that. Lots of us are struggling. Reselling is hard work. It's not simple. It's not easy. It's not a make $1 million overnight kind of thing. It's just not. It takes a lot of time, money, patience, so on and so forth. So don't ever feel like you're not good enough to do this, because I'm sure you are. You just may have to do something extra as well. Whether that's have a regular job working for somebody else, whether even if it's part-time, full-time, doesn't matter. If you want to go do another kind of job like what I do, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, you know, again, there's lots of options in today's world of different ways to make money. So I just wanted to be completely transparent with you guys, show you guys that I'm a regular person, probably a lot like you, with a lot of the same struggles, and I definitely struggle with reselling. But I love it. I absolutely love reselling. And I want to continue doing it probably like forever. Maybe eventually I will finally get to the point again where I can make enough doing that to then not have to do the supplemental of delivery driving. That would be wonderful. That's my main idea and goal, and that's what I would love. And I'm lucky to have a partner who is very supportive of me and my goals and wants me to be able to reach those goals. Not everybody has a supportive partner like that, and so I'm very thankful that I do. And I hope that you guys have something like that in your lives as well. Hopefully you have a supportive partner, supportive family, whatever the case for you. Again, if you are not making enough reselling to pay all your bills, you probably want to look into doing something else, no matter what it is. You know, you don't want to get yourself in a position where you're behind on your bills, you can't pay anything, like you're just going to make things harder. So obviously find a motivation to get other things, whether it's, like I said, delivery driving, or whether it's a regular job where you're going in and clocking in for somebody else. Doesn't really matter. The point is to take care of yourself and to make sure that you can pay your bills. And it doesn't mean that you failed. Reselling has just become really, really difficult over the last couple years. Like I said, when I originally quit my job in 2019, I was doing awesome. It was really, really good. I feel like after 2020, things changed a lot. There's lots of different reasons and thoughts on why it's changed. You know, I'm sure if you guys have heard any other YouTubers, been in any reselling groups, you've seen all the different reasons and excuses. The economy, more resellers flooding the market, thrift store prices too high, I don't know, so on and so forth. There's like a million reasons that people come up with as to why reselling isn't what it used to be. Who knows what the actual reason is? And I'm not going to get into a political debate or anything like that. Who knows what the reason is? It could be a mixture of every single one of the things that people think it is, and not just one thing. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. Just keep plugging away at it. If this is something that you really, really want and that you really, really want to do, then keep doing it. Just don't expect it to be simple and easy, because it's not. Don't expect it to be $1 million overnight, because it's not. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of patience. And a lot of times, very little money. So, just keep that in mind. Again, this video was just meant to be completely transparent with you guys, because I believe 100% in being fully transparent. I don't really like it when other people aren't completely transparent and they make it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world to do. I feel like that can be very discouraging to other people who are struggling. I feel like it's not really giving the true picture of what they themselves are even actually going through. So yeah, I guess that's it, guys. This is all I really wanted to talk to you about. Just wanted to kind of give you my backstory on my reselling journey, where I'm at now, things like that. Hopefully my future will keep growing and growing. And again, I can finally get to the point where I can really truly be a full-time reseller again. That would be great. But if not, I'll do what I have to do. Alright guys, if you like this video, make sure to give it a like. It'll help the video and help the channel. If you have any comments or questions about this subject or even anything else, make sure to comment down below. I'll be happy to answer any comments or questions you have. And make sure you subscribe to my video so you can always be notified when I post new videos. Alright guys, until next time, keep on hunting for that hidden treasure.